I'll let people come in. It's good to be with my sister.
Namaste.
Yeah.
Greetings to all.
Yeah.
This is just the right music you put on now, Todd.
It is. It's beautiful.
Yes.
Can you hear it all right?
Yeah, it's beautiful. Love it. And it's just the space which I'm in now, which you just told about.
Me too.
How wonderful. That's fantastic.
Yeah. You're my sister.
Yes, you're my brother.
Let people come in.
Yes.
We'll share the experience that you've been having, I've been having, in this vortex we're all a part of.
Yes. Stripped down to the core.
Yeah. We are.
Yes.
It's necessary.
You see, I have the tissue here.
Yeah. I got some here too.
Just in case.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's just let this sink in.
Yes.
Hello, everybody. 21 people in the house so far. If these shows resonate with you, please share. We're being suppressed again by Facebook, but that's okay. God, so many people here. Aline, my dear friend from Norway, Shah Saz, Kathy McAuliffe, Nasia Sia, Lauren Dogan, Mary Cooper, Aluna Rose, Diane McLaughlin, Karen Starr, Ricky Hint, Paula Walsh, Marita, Val Veshnik, Alexa Isra, Susan Curtis, Karen Riley, oh my God, I just got a huge crown chakra explosion. Jan Schurer, Susie Jones, Gisela Gonzalez.
It's very, very expansive space now. It's just,
yeah, it is.
I mean, I called for all my guides, all that I'm connected with, all my higher aspects. And it's just mind blowing. It's just, wow.
Let me read the comments. Jenny Tollington. Okay, let's roll it out. I don't know how many times we've gotten together, but so many of the connections we've made over the last few years, all of us, have been beyond words. You know, energy is energy, and we've felt this energy no matter what words we've written or said to each other.
Yes.
Grace is a sister to me, and I've never met her in the flesh, and we don't have to have that occurrence in this time we live in now. So everybody, welcome to Soul Speaks 5D, Soul G1 Network, and welcome back, my dear beloved sister, Grace Solaris. And let me just say, on behalf of everybody, I've said it on many of the shows in the last week, our deepest condolences to you and your family. We know your mother passed on February 18th. We know she transitioned. We know that energy cannot be destroyed. It cannot be killed, you know.
Yes, exactly.
They were all with us, and so many of us have had people transition, and so many of us have had experiences where we know they're not gone.
Yeah.
You know, the veils are lifted. So thank you for being brave and courageous. I say I used to say that it's spontaneous, intuitive, creative, and imaginative, and I added the word courageous to the energy that we're trying to put out there. So that's what you represent. So thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be with everyone here and to share this magic of this moment, all the love that we can all feel now, you know, as the veils have lifted, and especially of late, these old timelines that have closed has really made it, of course, hard to some, yes, to really navigate in this new space where, you know, it's many have felt a lot of disorientation, and that's of course because it's like you actually finished your old incarnation. I mean, you incarnated here on this earth, 3D, right? And so what you have done, all the things that you're gonna, all your path has led up to this point, yes, to the coronation, which is now the completion of the ascension. And so it has been a very long journey for many of us. There are also people that have not been on this journey so long, but it doesn't matter at all. We all have our individual journeys, but it's because we feel kind of this completion now, and it's like the bridges behind us are just gone. You know, there's no way to turn back to the old ways of thinking, of behaving, and so it's really graduation time. And so there's not really an option, you know, to continue the old way. So of course, for those that still are struggling with, you know, shedding of the old ways, or that are in maybe difficult situations, relationships, whatever, it's really a time now to really do what you know that you need to do, because you know, if you don't move that step forwards now, it's just gonna be very tricky, turbulent, because with this new heightened frequency on the earth, it just, there's so much frequency, yeah. So when we are in neglectance or repression, it just doesn't work, you know, because it will be pulled to the surface. And so this will create a lot of friction. I would just call it friction, energetical friction. So it can turn out as anxiety, even depression, and even panic attacks, you know. And I've had clients of late, several that I know have really been so far that they have said, you know, I really don't want to be here anymore. So I mean, even having, you know, feelings of, you know, I'm done here, I had enough, you know, I don't see the point. But that's natural. That's because all the old timelines have closed now. So you in a way, you can't see your purpose unless you are stepping forward and just saying yes, because you know inside your heart, you know very well that you came here to make a difference, and we all did that. All that are here at this point incarnated, we all have some tasks here to fulfill. We all have roles to play, and now the real stuff is gonna start now, you know, really getting into our soul plan, into planetary service. And so and this upcoming equinox, I have been told from my guides that it's really a portal now, a huge portal, where we have the opportunity through these energies supporting this to step into service as a collective, because this new level of evolution of humanity now is really about moving in to collective service. You know, there have been many of us that have been of the first wave. You know, we've been, you know, working in service for the last 20, 30 years or whatever. Some call them the first waves. Doesn't matter all those names. But but at that time, it was very much the path of the lone wolf, you know. But now we really connect, as all the veils have fallen away, and we have merged all those aspects ourselves, our human aspects, as well as all the higher aspects, whether it's angelic aspects, whether it's galactic aspects. It could be also aspects from inner earth, from the fairy kingdoms, whatever aspects. I mean, we are all.
Yeah.
But so it's not that, I mean, you can say, if you have to merge with all those aspects, how can I ever, you know, but it's not about that. It's just there are certain aspects that are important for you to integrate right now, and they will automatically show up. They will present themselves because you need them for the next leg of your soul plan, to integrate them, because you will use certain attributes offered by those higher aspects to fulfill your soul plan.
Yeah.
So and after we have integrated all this, then you are ready to merge with your soul monad. And this is really this time now when you connect fully with your soul monad. And again, they can present, there are some members, maybe some people, you know, from across the globe that you haven't seen, but you just feel, you know, family, brother, sister, you feel this so close connection. And I mean, there's soul family, and then the soul monad, that's, you know, more, it's like there's a soul group, soul family. Also, it's like a trick. It just get more and more down into one essence. So your soul monad is contains of those 144 souls, and they do also present themselves now. I mean, they have for the last years. I have started to meet some, and I know many have started to come together as we have started to becoming complete. After we have achieved divine union, they will start to present themselves. So some of them will be known to us, others will maybe not be known yet, but they will start to turn up more and more now, because it's really time now that we unite and we start to serve as soul monad. So that our new task, there are a new soul plan. And so for this equinox, I had an activation the other day. Actually, I was in the middle of giving someone healing, and then they just come in from the sideline, as they often do, and gave me some intel and some information, and then I received an activation. And then they told me about this equinox, that now we have this opportunity for those that are ready to really step forward now and say yes, in your nakedness, in your rawness, in your simply, I don't know what's going to happen. Just show up and just surrender and say yes. Yeah. This is what it's about now. And fully let go, and you know, really for the I to step aside.
Yeah.
And so to become an instrument of love. And to those that are really ready to do this now, and I sense there's a lot of people out there that are really ready, because they just had it. They just had enough. They just had enough of this old play, this old game, and now the real stuff starts. Yes, and so I mean, we can now see everything from a higher perspective also. So this equinox really offers this doorway into this into the new earth. It's already here, right? We are here now, it's happening. The timelines have collapsed. So this is also this not only because we have closed off this old incarnations as we have fulfilled our ascension now, but it's also this disorientation is also because the timelines have closed. So we are like where am I? What's going on here? And one moment, and then you can feel this parallel existence. All these things going on at the same time. So you're like, wow.
Do you feel, I mean, I love what you're saying because, for so long in the past few years, the disorientation has really accentuated in our shadows and our work on ourselves. And that's not changing. But I love what you said is because the disorientation now is really a result of the veils being gone. And it's just like, how do you get used to this? And I also love what you say too about, we've gone the many miles, the many lives, we paid the prices. And yes, it's been difficult, but we're past it. We made it. We showed up. Yes. Every one of us showed up. And now there's something going on, especially this month. We had the 333 on the 3rd, 333 on the 12th. The equinox is a 333. People are reporting all kinds of stuff all over the world off the mainstream. And it's like, how do you get used to this? Do you feel like, I feel like I'm split. I feel like I can feel, and I don't mean to say this in any way because I believe the human's a hero, but I feel this density, this heaviness that grounds me here. But at the same time, like you were just saying a minute ago, I can't say it the way you did, but there's also all this other stuff going on, and my body's out there experiencing it, or at least aware of it on the peripheral of it, and knowing it's there, and it's getting closer and closer and closer. And there's so many predictions and prognostications over the last few years, and this is going to happen, and that's going to happen. Yeah. I feel like it's right there in front of us now.
Yeah, we're right in the middle of it now. It's just, I mean, many are speaking about this event thing, I mean, I'm, and there's so many dates given, I don't really care much about dates. I care about what I'm feeling. I care about what's I sense in the present moment, what I'm told, but it's just now it's just so much expansion. It's just, and I say it's almost liquid. It's just like, I feel like this density is you can see it with, you can see it with your eyes. You can feel it, that you are just on a total different level now. Yes, you're on a total different level, and you are really, as I said, stripped down to the core. Yeah. Yes. And that, of course, it can be challenging. For example, I'm blessed. I live in the countryside, I will not imagine how you can, it will be very challenging if you are in the middle of a big city or something, because nature is so important now. That can really help us, because you said how to deal with these energies and to kind of settle in with it, merge with it. It's more like, I don't feel it's so much about grounding. It's simply about merging in with it, becoming part of this fluidity, because it's like a consciousness. It's a consciousness field that you're in. So it's not like, oh, now I can anchor into the earth, and there's gravitation, all that. It's like we have even transcended gravitation. We are floating in space. Now we can really feel what is this experience about. We used to have this experience of being dumped down on the earth, and just standing here, and you have upside and you have downside, and now you're just like, not that for my experience, I don't feel non-grounded at all.
Yeah.
though I'm floating in space,
Yeah.
so, and I can say for one, it took me many years to
Yes.
ground, because I didn't really want to be here. I wanted to go home. So it took me some 35, 37 years before I really learned to ground at that point. But at that time, the energies were different. Yes. So I know what it means not to be grounded. But this now is just like it's you have transcended that. It's just now because everything is inside of you. You can really have this experience now. This is something we've heard for years, but it wasn't possible to have that experience, not in the way that we have now. So when you ground, it's just like, the great central sun is within your heart. Everything is within, and it's in every cell. So the way really to ground, if you want to speak a grounding about that, so that's really just to be fully present within your heart, within the tiny space of your heart. That's the way you can ground if you want to ground. But it is really this experience now for me, and I think for many, that it's liquid, it's fluid, and so it's this huge. We are transcending this density. It's more like everything is becoming an organic field. It's pure consciousness, everything. And so when you really can settle in and just become one with that energy, then you're just aligned. You're just aligned with everything. So it's just about being in the heart.
Yeah.
Because when you're in the heart, you're aligned with everything.
Well, I think too, to your point too, the thing about being in the country, I'm getting downloads in the last 3 minutes, but being in the country, I was talking to these two beautiful souls today on the show before this. They met in New York City. And I spent some time in New York City, and I said, wow, you guys woke up in New York City. But I think what it is, it's easier to find that alignment. You don't have to look as deep. You can find it anywhere.
You could find it everywhere, of course. Yeah.
But I love what you say too, because as what's been coming out on these shows over the last few weeks is, the human is the hero. There's a reason we're conscious mostly now in this particular aspect. And when you say, like for me, when I ground now, I don't close my eyes. I walk around, or I could be in a room and I just observe everything that's there. And like you said, being present, this is where our power is. This is it. And the other thing too, that you bring up that I know a lot of people can relate to is all this time we went through all this stuff. And so many times we said, why am I doing this, but no one's listening? Why am I doing this, but I don't see any progress? Morgan and other people have said, there's going to come a time when we are going to be really busy and needed. And I think that time is coming. I think it's here. I think it's here. Juan Jose Vallejo Civicos, our brother from Spain, he just pointed out that there's going to be a fourth 333 this month, and that's going to be on the 30th. So that's important too.
Yes. So I actually wanted to conclude what I was talking about, the equinox. So what I was told from my guides was that so now it's really which I have now put out, a clarion call, a collective clarion call for humanity as a whole to step into service now, to really get on with it now. And so I was shown and told by my guides that I will offer an event. There will be an event on the equinox that I will host together with Stella Fairbairn.
Yeah.
And so you're all invited, of course, and there's already over 400 that have signed up. So
Wow.
people are really so hot, you know, they really are so ready, and it's just, and you can really feel it. It's like this bubbling energy. People are just, wow, you know, I just want to get on with this now because I got this vision in my heart, you know, and I want to bring it on now, you know. And so, and in this activation at this equinox, it will be, of course, as always, there will be many higher beings of light that will support us in this. But it's the Elohim, which I've worked with for many years, that will overlight this equinox activation that we will be doing. And there you will, there is a guided meditation, and you will be taken to, I won't say too much, but anyhow, so everyone who's ready really to step into service now, you will receive your divine ray of service. Because when you incarnated in this incarnation, yes, which was all a preparation for the ascension, for what we are going to do now, because we are going to ascend while in the body, we are going to manifest a new heaven on earth. So all that was lying before was the preparation for now. And to prepare for that, we all incarnated on a different divine ray, whether it's blue ray, violet, whatever, they're different colors, to serve us in this incarnation, in this 3D density that we grew up with. Some of us really grew up in heavy, toxic environments. So before we incarnated, we chose a ray to incarnate on. It's not like, so you are that ray forever and ever. You know, you can choose, you know, and it is chosen before you incarnate which ray you are incarnating on. And so this ray has been serving us up to this point, but because now new tasks are coming, it's total switch now into manifesting the new heaven on earth. And so in this activation, we will be giving our flame of divine service. We will switch the divine ray, the color of the divine ray, and we will receive that. So that will cater for the best for all the tasks that we have in anchoring in the new heaven on earth, and supporting in building up and catching up all those, you know, the masses, you know,
Yeah.
because there will, and it's happening now everywhere around us. So we will switch to that divine ray that will serve as it's the divine ray of service, and we will each receive a different one. Of course, the soul monad would have the same ray. So this will be given per divine decree. You just have to ask for this. So of course you don't need to participate in that activation to do that. Everyone can ask that and will be given. But there is a event that that we have for this equinox, and there's a divine, there's a guided meditation, and there's also a sound emanation to anchor in the 144,000 frequency, the harmonics of creation of the Elohim. So that's the master keys and codes of the Elohim.
Where does,
and that
who's the conduit for that, for the sound harmonic?
that's Stella. That's why I do it with Stella. She is a fantastic channel.
I know she
fantastic, and everything she does is just so divine.
She's
and
coming on
so
this month, and I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, great. So and Stella and I, we are the same soul monad, and we both we are very connected through Andromeda, but also through many other constellations. So we have started to do a lot of things together. We are soul monads, so that's how that came up. And so So she will channel this sound harmonics, and it will be blended with a guided meditation that I have been a conduit for, which is already made now. And this link will then be given at this activation, because normally the activation that I have been hosting with the Acturians and other galactics have been mostly or almost entirely light activations where there are no links and anything. It's just that I connect with the group synergy, the group energy, and then I work together with as my Acturian high self with the Acturians and sometimes with other galactics. So that's purely through light and vibration, right? So this time there's a link that will be posted to the page, to the event page. And these sound harmonics that so beautifully come through Stella will be grounded also in these activations that will support us stepping into divine service, because this 144,000 frequency is the frequency of the Elohim, and that is the they are calling the builders, right? They are of the angelic hierarchy. I don't like the word hierarchy, but it's just like a role, like let's say like that. They are serving at the throne of God, implementing God's goddess will, divine will. And so we can and that's where we need to step in now as co-creators, you know, really embodying this Elohim, the co-creators, pure source energy, because it is in our DNA. And so it will also be activated in this through this equinox portal and this equinox event that we will host.
I think this is a big deal. And I think another thing I see happening out there, I see happening with you. It's happening with me. It's happening with others around me. I won't name any names, but you know, all this stuff that we've gotten over the years, you know, this stuff that's not made any sense in the human world, in this realm, that's gone against conventional wisdom and societal, you know, conditioning. We've always, even I remember Marita Shashan was on 3 or 4 months ago, and I remember her telling me she's done this work for 20 years and defied everything in her life. And she said until 6 months prior to that show, she said, I thought I was the only one out here doing it. Pretty much.
Okay. Yeah.
So there's more and more people doing it. And what I'm getting at is I think we're in a space now of confidence, of spiritual confidence. I think that we can now say, you know what? This isn't just stuff that I'm hearing. This is really going on. This is really why I'm here. And what makes it really, really dynamic is that at the same time, we can actually create and live a life as Todd or as Grace, as you found that place over there. But we still have this mission, and this mission to expand Mother Goddess's outer breath, you know, I mean, to expand creation, to take what we came into this world with and combine that with our experiential aspect, you know, with the actual living and doing it and transforming all of that into a higher vibration. This is why we're here. And
it's so true. It's so true. You know, and so today for me, it's so true what you're saying now, and it's really, you know, I started this journey very early, from my 20s. Now I'm plus 50, whatever. I don't even know how old I am. 20, I said 50, whatever, 52, 53, I don't know. But anyway, I started in my 20s. Actually, I mean, from the day I was born, I just knew I came here to shift something, to make a difference. And so I started early, and I was like a rebel, you know, from a child, you know, and I just know I had to change things, you know, and I always knew I was different, or at least I felt different from others, you know, and I just went about doing my things, you know, saying things that could provoke others, that could help awaken others, that, you know, just planted seeds here and there, you know, when I started in my 20s, you know, and I had visions very early. And then, of course, started the healing process that took many years, you know, because there was a lot of trauma, you know, and so, and really getting to know this very human aspect, you know, and this self-sabotage going on and all this stuff, you know, which you have just been, first you have to realize it, and then you see through it, you see it from a higher perspective, and then still it's kind of playing from the sidelines, you know. But I feel now it's just like, by the closing of the timelines, it's just now we've reached spiritual maturity, you know, as you said, confidence, because we have playing this thing for such a long time, where the ego was too intervening all the time. And actually, I decided for myself today, now I just show up. I don't give a shit, you know, right. Because I have noticed myself, because I don't like to be on camera, you know, and it took me so much courage the first times to come on camera, but that was not me, that was ego. You know, how do people think about me? How do I look? Is I'm saying something clever? Am I misunderstood? You know, all this stuff.
You almost disappeared the first time you were on.
Yes, yes, that's true. Yes, yes. And so, and then, of course, it's something I've been feeling the last months, weeks, increasingly, that it's just like after the closing of all those timelines, it's just like this old incarnational story, and with everything attached to it, the roles you played and all this stuff, though you have been healing it and all that, it has still be some kind of imprinted you on some level.
Yeah.
And then, so today I really decided I'm just, you know, gonna show up, because I've noticed myself sometimes on camera after, when I've seen things, and I thought, yes, you're so jumping around, and you're so kind of, yes, I've seen how because that I was such a bit of, what is his name? I was so yes.
But that's what you were talking about.
Jumping around in a way. Trying to hide myself in a way, because though, I mean, I got nothing to hide, I'm here, but it's just this, instead of just saying, okay, I'm being here, I'm fully present, I'm love, that's who I am. And through our lives, you know, we had tried to, you know, being out there, being aware we're here to make a difference, and then still to be somehow
questioning,
you know, deal with this human part of it, you know. And so anyway, now it's much easier, and I think everyone is feeling that now, that we can just also, you know, to really, because this has been the challenge, and I think that's maybe the last half year something. I mean, it's been going on for years, of course, implementing the higher aspects. I mean, the Elohim came to me in 2009, you know, and told me, you're Elohim, you know, and, you know, I couldn't question it, because they were just overlighting me, and I was just in tears and tears and tears for hours. So I couldn't question it. And they said, you're going to go out, that you're going to embrace this aspect of yourself. So I did. It took me a long time, but it has been a process to embody more and more, and to relax into it, and to just accept it.
It's the frequency. Yes. It's not the words. It's not the words, Grace. You know, everyone's making comments. It's your frequency.
And just to accept it and own that vibratory rate, you know, that you are that frequency, to just be it. And when you can relax into that, you are that. You are everything. You're healing. You are grace, you are love, you are divine joy, you are everything.
How do
So just allowing that.
How do you feel about connecting now to Arturians, to Magdalene, to Mother Mary?
I feel connected all the time.
How do you feel about putting a little music behind you and seeing what comes out?
Okay. Just to emanate the...
Just whatever happens.
Yes.
Let's see
Okay.
what happens.
Yes.
Let's see what happens.
Okay.
Spontaneous, imaginative, creative, intuitive, and courageous. And you're courageous, Grace.
Okay, just open your heart, everyone, and blend into one. Be not afraid to let go of your old self. Do not be afraid to feel the immensity of love and to expand and become one. In this space where you no longer exist on one level, but you become all with everything. A pulsating field of consciousness. Let the joy fill your heart. Remember the paradise. The infinite love. That is you. That has always been and always will be. Allow yourself to unfurl your wings of freedom to be the love that you are with no constraints. And leave behind all has to, and just be one with the divine flow of creation. creation.
Mm. Wow.
This is very much the Lemurian energy also that is coming through, the energy of the divine feminine, where we are not, it's like life is living itself through us. We don't do things, it's through the being that life live itself through us. We become instruments of love. We don't decide what to do. We simply letting ourselves be taken by the flow. And we will instinctively know where to be, what to say, or just to be. And things happen through us. There is no has to, and so you can say the mind is not involved in that process. It can implement the things. That's when the divine masculine comes in to serve the divine feminine. So being in this divine flow in the heart space of pure grace, in this being, you are an instrument of divine will. And this is very much where we are as a collective now, to really materializing, embodying this divine feminine in union, of course, with the divine masculine. But it's more the Lemurian energy, as the Atlantean energy was more the divine masculine. The Lemurian energy is the divine feminine. And I also wanted to share, because Joseph of Arimathea, that he was known as the uncle of Jesus.
Yeah.
He was the one that had started to turn up with me. I have not dealt with him very much in the past. Actually, I haven't dealt with him at all. And that's the one that then suddenly turned up while I was in the shower, that told me to take a group of souls to Scotland, to the Outer Hebrides, to make this big activation that we are gonna do in June. Also, I'm gonna do that with Stella. I talked about it in the last show.
Yes.
But Joseph of Arimathea, he talked to me today about the importance of the divine masculine now, because everyone is talking about the divine feminine, which has been needed, that we have healed the divine feminine in us. But now it's important to really also give space for the divine masculine, because this is, and they're also to heal the divine masculine, the masculine wounds, because we have not been in a place of doing this until we've healed the divine feminine wounds. We have not been able to really embody the fully healed divine masculine. We simply wouldn't have been able to, because there was just too deep wounds. So we would have rejected it, and now it's really like the time now where we must really also give space to the divine masculine, and to understand the divine masculine, how important the divine masculine is to even to nurture the divine feminine, and to act out, to implement all the guidance that comes through her, because she's connected with the womb of creation. She's aligned with divine will. So she has been now the chalice, has been turned over to the divine feminine now after thousands and thousands of years. So this was happening around the shift after New Year. And so she now has the scepter for the divine leadership now.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that she's more than the divine masculine, of course not, but they do play different roles. And because she is naturally aligned with the cosmic womb of creation, she is
Yes.
the natural shepherd, yes, for creation, and so she is aligned with that wisdom, has a much more direct connection with it. So it is now important that she is giving space in us, which many of us have felt the call really to surrender to the divine feminine, and many have worked on healing the divine feminine so that you can have the balanced divine feminine and masculine, and can unite into divine union.
Yes.
So after this has been done, it's just important to really validate, or to, you know, how important also that the divine masculine is. Yes, so that we really also give that space, so we don't get too focused on divine feminine. So it's really in this beauty, in this divine embrace of the two, that this full harmony can take place, and we can be fully instruments of divine will,
It's time.
and implement that into the world to materialize the new heaven on earth.
It's time. It's time.
Yes.
He carries sacred wisdom too.
Yes,
I,
absolutely.
and I
And
gotta tell
he is also, and the wound of the masculine is, of course, because he was also uh, amputated in a way, because he was, you know, not allowed access to his feelings. He was told, it's a sign of weakness, you know, it's not masculine, it's a sign of weakness if you are because I mean, you can't separate them two. Within the divine masculine is the divine feminine, and within the divine feminine is the divine masculine. We talk about them separately, but in a way they are both within both halves, if you like, right? So the masculine has also suffered a lot, you know, through not having been allowed to show his feeling, has not been allowed to show weakness. So it's important that all this will be embraced now, accepted now, and will just be healed in the grace of her love, and in their merging into one, they, both of them, will be in divine union with themselves and unite into one. And so the soul monad and source energy can fully, the I am that I am, can descend into our body, that we can, that's really what the ascension is about, that your soul in oneness with source, with all that is, can descend soul, you know, as you say, I am soul. And that you really, with all yourself, with all your being, you say, I am soul, and you just radiate that, and it's so powerful. And when you say, I am soul, you are all that is, and you are, you know, you don't need to connect with everything. You are that. You are just being in your heart, and that's the, you know, the most powerful thing you can say. I am that I am. I am soul. The moment you say it, or you just think it or feel it, I mean, you don't, you know, some people, you know, take a crystal, light an incense, close the eyes or whatever, but you just need to just, you know, I am soul, I am that I am. And then you're aligned. You're one with all that is. And so all that is at your feet, you know, it's at your disposal. Yes. And so you are the omnipresence of God and Goddess. You are the Akashic field divine wisdom, divine love, grace, joy, abundance. You are all that is. And to just allow for that, embrace that, own it. And this is important for many of us now, you know, really, because it has been or is for many scary just to embrace that. But it's just because this is the greatest power that we have also in incarnations. We have maybe misused it also, but now we have come to the spiritual maturity. We can close the doors behind us now. The bridges have burned, and now we can really step into our divine sovereignty as soul, as the I am that I am. And that's really this divine sovereignty. Also, you know, to own this divine innocence. You know, we are innocent. You know, this, as Jesus said, be like the children. This is this purity, this purity of the children, you know, and it is in that energy that everything is possible. All the magic takes place through that vibration. That's really because a child believe, you know, if I want to move that mountain, I can then will move that mountain, you know. It believes in it, and it's just owning that vibration. And so when we start really to fully own that, there is no limitations to what we can do. So it's really, what's up now is really to perform miracles, to allow for all these wondrous things, you know, also that Jesus talked a lot about, you know, you shall do greater things. Yeah. And I grew up with that imprinted in my heart, and I just knew it. And I stated to myself again and again. It was kind of my mantra throughout my life. I don't know. It was just like running in the background somehow, you know. And it's really for us now to just be that joy and just allow it, and really just that, you know, whatever we have done in this, I would say, previous incarnation now that we have stepped out of now, it's really to, you know, as the timelines have closed, you know, we can try to keep a foot in the old, but it doesn't work. It feels better to just jump into this big void of, yes, disorientation maybe at first, or, you know, confusion. But when you just allow and settle into that, and not trying to grab hold of anything to figure out, to stop trying to figure out, stop trying to be in control, and just say, okay, I'm just gonna, you know, I'm just gonna face and see what's gonna happen. I'm just gonna jump in here and see what's gonna happen. And
own it. You're owning it. Yes,
what do you say?
I said you're owning it. Own it.
Yes, exactly. Owning it. Exactly. Owning that vibration. So this is exactly where we are standing now, each one of us, and that's what's happening now. There's really this big opening now into this big void. Yes, this is what is happening now in March. If you know, it's like a huge portal, and you can just step into this big void now. Yes, and so it's up to each of us to, yes, to own it, to step into our sovereignty, and just really, it's about saying yes, just saying yes, and do all the things that make you saying yes. Don't go into situations, don't go into relationships that triggers a no in any way. Do things that makes you say yes. Do what's good for you, you know. Choose, and even if you don't know how and what and when, you know, just be like a child, be adventurous, or even be silly, just saying, okay, I'm just gonna do it. I'm not gonna know what's gonna happen.
Own it.
Own it. Exactly. Own it. Yes.
You know what's crazy is I never heard of the uncle of Jesus, Joseph, right? Until today. Twice. Twice it's come up. And 7 years ago, when I got my download, I downloaded and I wrote a book in 4 days about, I don't know, past life or whatever. I don't know how that all works. But then about a month later, I got this download from this guy, Joseph. And I thought it was Joseph from, Mother Mary and Joseph, but it wasn't.
Yes.
And I always knew it wasn't. And I wrote this book, which I never put out, but it was about 44 scrolls that had been transcribed before Jesus, right?
Yeah.
And
wow, you must print those out, Todd.
I got them somewhere on a hard drive, but on a flash drive. But the thing is I never even remembered that until you mentioned this a few minutes ago. So there's got to be some synchronicity to that.
Yeah. Yes. So yes. So Joseph of Arimathea, he was known as the uncle of Jesus, and he also came to after the crucifixion. I just make because he didn't really die, but he went to Europe and came to the British Isles, Glastonbury, and he also went up to Scotland, where we are actually going. And the place that I will be going with the group of people together with Stella Fairbairn in June, and I talked about it a little last time. I was kept on hearing, started last year, I was kept on being called to the Outer Hebrides. Outer Hebrides, I don't know anything about the Outer Hebrides. And then I heard Callanish. So later on, when I went to Google it and I saw what it was, I was just mind blown, because I didn't know about this stone circle. It's actually the oldest stone circle in Europe, the Callanish stone circle. And Joseph, he came to me in the shower, and I was very surprised because Joseph, I say, what he's doing here, because I have been a channel for many years and have never had anything to do, but he was just coming in so strongly. I was just in tears, and he kept staying with me for days actually, and kept on giving me downloads, more and more information. And so he said that this Callanish stone circle is in direct alignment with the office of the Christ, which is on Andromeda. And actually this stone circle is directly aligned with Andromeda. And Joseph told me, and that's probably why he's also coming into play now and becoming more active, and coming into the attention of, because I've heard others that have said he's kind of coming up now, Joseph, because he's the spokesperson for the office of the Christ. And what we are doing in Scotland is actually bringing together of many people that are the ground crew of the office of the Christ. We are aspects of some of our higher aspects are serving in the office of the Christ on Andromeda, and we have been called to come together in Scotland in that Callanish stone circle to basically anchor in this Christ Codex of and the office on Christ on the new heaven on earth. Yes, so that's what we're going to do there. And of course, Joseph of Arimathea, he's really representing that healed, divine, masculine in such a beautiful way. And he has been known also in other incarnations, several incarnations where he has been here as an ascended master, also as Saint Germain, which he was. That's the same. From the same soul monad, you would say it's the same soul, not the same soul, the same soul monad. So he has been here, Saint Germain also, and I can't remember the others. There are others. So he is making himself aware in different people's life now, because he has some very important information also to share, and it's also important now that also the divine masculine will now be fully integrated with us all. So he actually came in today also with me, and yeah, I'm just so blessed. So we are thanking him now for being part of this session today, for everyone to feel. And I invite everyone now to really connect in your heart with Joseph of Arimathea, and to really ask to really be connected with this healed form of the masculine, the divine masculine, to really connect with that divine way. And you can do that through connecting in your heart with Joseph that are here now with us. So, and invite every one of you to do that now. And to feel his loving, caring energy. And let's bless all the men that have hurt us, that have disappointed us, that have taken disadvantage of us. Let's bless the divine masculine and embrace his grace into our heart to unite with the divine feminine in oneness. Let's celebrate.
Yeah.
It's graduation time.
Yeah.
Own it.
Grace, you're beautiful. Thank you. Perfect timing. I knew it was going to be an incredible show. Yeah. And for those of you who are asking Grace to come back, she's been on 4 times, or maybe 5 times. We'll definitely get her back. She's part of this. She's part of this collective energy we call
Always a pleasure with you, my brother. I love you so much, and I love you all, dear family. That all here. I haven't got my glasses on because they so I don't see who is all there. But I'm fed up with the glasses, so I have clear vision now.
That's what I'm hoping.
Yes. So.
All right. I love you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining us and for embracing and owning who you are and being in divine union, stepping into sovereignty now, owning who you are, You are love. You are divine. You are soul. You are wonderful beyond measure. I love you.
Love you.
Love
See you
you.
later. You take
See
care.
you.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.